It's also like one of our highest commented on TikTok.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the most controversial.
I sacrificed myself for your views,
Yes.
though.
I have it at 5. So
You guys ride Batman Begins way too hard.
I feel like it's always going to be 2 against 1 with some of these picks.
I'm always right.
That's the problem I have with Batman. Every time I see him on screen with other members of the Justice League, I'm like, what is this guy doing here? He doesn't belong here. He doesn't have superpowers.
Have you seen the
His suit? Welcome to Backseat Directing.
Where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew.
and Aaron, with Justin.
We put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on today's episode, we're ranking the top 10 DC movies. But we all have to agree.
God, 3, 2, 1, action.
The first time one of our guests has joined in on the theme song.
Give him a good noodle stop.
Justin, what's up, man? What's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, it's been
Been
a
a
while.
long time coming.
Yep, you were the last episode you were on. I think was the 100th episode with the hot takes.
Yeah.
You were also on. What was the first one? What was
Scores.
The movie scores. Yeah, that one was a lot of fun.
Yep.
You guys
And
had a
then
solo episode.
we did a just
yeah.
me and you.
Not a solo episode. But
Well, it's without you. So. That's the only episode that has been without one of us on there, or both of us.
It's actually our lowest rated episode on
It's all
the
good.
podcast because I wasn't there.
It's also like one of our highest commented on TikTok.
It is. It's one of the most controversial.
I sacrificed myself for your views,
Yes.
though.
You did indeed.
That was a good episode. I enjoyed listening to it often.
And some of the controversy was about DC movies, which
Yep.
we're getting into today. We have to come up with the top 10 DC movies. So let's any movies that DC has made, and we're putting them in order.
Live action, animated.
Yeah.
Me and Justin are huge DC fans. We're DC apologists, DC over Marvel.
Yes.
Aaron's a Marvel square, if you will, but he's still going to have some strong opinions today.
Marvel Square.
But this should be a lot of fun. It should get pretty heated because I know we're all pretty passionate about these movies, even if Aaron's more team Marvel.
I'm just here to mess things up between you two here.
I don't know. I mean, I know we have some similar opinions, and then we do, and you guys might have some, but like, I feel like it's always going to be 2 against 1 with some of these picks. So
Before we fully dive into it, I want to preface it too with the fact that the three of us freaking love Batman. So if you don't like Batman, this list is probably going to piss you off.
Yeah.
So this, like, if a lot of people end up listening to this, no matter what, we're going to piss a lot of people off because no one's opinion is.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
No one's opinion,
Yeah.
especially with the three of us, like, it's like a mixed opinion. It's like a melting pot opinion because we have to agree on the ranking of the movie wherever
Yeah.
it goes. So if people are going to disagree. People are going to hate our rankings. We know that. Definitely argue in the comments, and I'll tell you why I think
You're
that
wrong.
you're fucking wrong. But because I'm always right.
you could see the build up to that one.
Yeah, he's been waiting to say that all day long.
I'm always right. But it might be a little bit, placement might be off a little bit with these two guys screwing with me, but that's okay.
That's my goal, just to mess Andrew up.
My original point, though, is that the three of us love Batman. Look at the posters behind us on the wall. We love Batman. So Batman's going to show up on this list. It's going to show up often. So
Absolutely.
So have that in your mind going into this, as he well should.
Yep.
Because he has the best stories, the best villains, and
best
the best
rogues
side
gallery.
characters. Yeah.
All right, so there's no real rules on this. Like we can start at 10, we can start at 1, we can kind of start in the middle, wherever like these movies kind of pop up at. But we just have to come up with 10 before we leave here, and we all have to be in agreement.
Before we leave here, like
That's
we're
right.
all gonna, like the doors change shut,
locked.
and we're gonna be like, just have our hair like, can we just come to a consensus? God damn it, I want to go home tonight.
So where do you guys want to start? I know DC's really big for you guys, so let's hear it. Where do you want to start?
Here's what I think we should do. That would be entertaining. We count down from 3 and say what we think the number 1 pick is. I think this is the most obvious thing in the world. So I think getting number 1 out of the way and just putting it on the board. No one's in suspense, right? Like let's just.
I mean, I'm not. I don't.
Okay, so I know where you guys are going. I'm just gonna go ahead and write it in. It's The Dark Knight, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would prefer to have the Batman above the Dark Knight, but I know you guys aren't going to budge on that, so I'll just go ahead
Not
and leave
gonna
it there.
budge. There is no way in hell that the Batman is going to be put over the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, for me personally, if I have my way, the Batman's probably not going to be in like the top 3, maybe not top 5.
Sheesh. That's crazy.
Check my list on that one.
We're just gonna like. I'm just gonna think a lot.
That's
for all of
ridiculous.
this.
All right.
That's
No, I mean,
ridiculous.
on my list, it turns out I agree with Andrew.
That's crazy. Where would you guys have the Batman?
I want it on the list. Let's see.
You want me to
Because I
tell
had
you?
it at number 1. So like creeping down past 3 is gonna.
We'll definitely have to adjust it, but I had it on mine at 6.
I will settle with it at 3. I will accept it at 3.
At 3?
I can do the same.
3? Okay, well, what do you have above it?
For me, Under the Red Hood.
Under the Red Hood.
I think Under the Red Hood is the best storyboard for Batman. It's the best Batman story, but I think The Dark Knight is the best movie to come out of DC. I think it's a better movie, but Under the Red Hood is a better Batman story for me.
What do you feel about that?
I understand the point.
I think it's good.
So
but I don't
Under
know
the
if
Red
it's
Hood,
2.
But Under the Red
over,
Hood is the
like at number 2. You said?
Yeah, I think it's the best Batman story specifically to Batman ever told, because you've got the 2 best villains Batman's ever had, in my opinion, which is the Red Hood and Joker. I mean, you've also got Sionis in there. You've got the Black Mask. So you've got some incredible Batman villains from the Rogues Gallery. And then you've got the personal nature between Batman and, spoiler for the movie, cover your ears, and Robin becoming the Red Hood. Like, plus Jensen Ackles voicing Red Hood is goddamn iconic. I know it's not my number 1 picks for Batman voice and Joker voice, because it's not Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. But I think that Bruce Greenwood and John DiMaggio absolutely freaking kill it in their respective roles. They sound so good. And that end scene with Batman fighting Red Hood and then Joker comes in is just like the best representation of Batman, like refusing to bend on his principles, refusing to even kill his worst enemy in an impossible situation and finding a way out of an impossible situation while saving everyone's lives.
A little like.
It's a little questionable if Red Hood lives, but I think he
Yeah,
does.
it's also like, okay, come on. You just threw that faster than a bullet.
Oh, he's
like,
a rootin'
easy.
marksman. He moved
Easy,
faster
guys.
than the damn Flash did in his movie, which, if you're expecting the Flash in this top 10, I will sooner die. The Flash is not in this top 10. I will
I
walk
had it at
out.
4, guys. What are you talking about? Come on.
Oof.
Yeah, so Batman dodges a bullet at the end of the Red Hood. I don't give a damn. It's awesome. He expected it. He saw it coming, so he moved.
Yeah.
He anticipated everything, bro.
I mean,
he's a real
okay.
detective. He's a real ass detective in that movie. He's fucking analyzing the sound quality of the voice of Red Hood,
Yeah,
isolating it from the train noise. Like, there's real there's relationships in there with like multiple Robins. You got his Nightwing coming back to Gotham City to help him. You've got Jason Todd turning into the Red Hood. Like the Bat family, the dynamic with Alfred. You've got him going to fucking interrogate the Joker. Like. And Ra's al Ghul, another S tier Batman villain showing up in this movie.
I don't even remember him.
Ra's al Ghul,
Yeah.
he's throughout the movie. He's in the very opening too, but it's so cool the way he's like the detective.
Oh, yes.
He says his like the lieutenant's like, should I send the man after him? And Ra's al Ghul's like, they wouldn't catch him, you know that. Like, it's just there's such good, perfect writing for Under the Red Hood. I mean, if you guys aren't as in love with it, I just can't live with it out of the top 5.
No, I kind of want it in the top 5. It's just I didn't have it at number 2 for me.
Yeah, 2's high.
Well, what do you guys have in mind? Like, pitch me number 2.
Okay, where do you have Man of Steel, guys?
Talk about Under the Red Hood for 5 minutes.
Because Man of Steel, I know,
So
is
might
one of your
kill you.
favorites. Man of Steel, you said before that you have one DCEU movie on your top 10. I'm assuming it's Man of Steel. Am I wrong?
Man of Steel didn't make my list.
Really?
Yeah, it's Shazam 2. That's I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
This guy. I'm just kidding. You heard it here.
I have Man of Steel on my list.
The truth comes out.
You're not gonna like where it is. I have it at number 9.
Oh, that's so low. I have
Yeah,
it
that
at
is
3. Where do you have it?
I had it at 5.
At 5?
Yeah, I mean, I could put it in top 5. Is it 2? You think it's 2 material? You're pitching me Man of Steel? I think that's a little hard sell.
So you had Man of Steel at 3. You had the Batman at 1.
Dark Knight at 2.
Dark Knight at 2.
Dark Knight at 2.
Yeah, at 2. Where it belongs, Andrew.
I'm gonna be sick. All right. I mean,
So
what do you want to do for 2?
We don't have to go in order either, and we can always just write it in, and I'll bold them when we solidify it.
The thing I'm struggling with, which is not really a struggle because all these movies that I have here are all amazing, which is also a whole nother problem in and of itself. But I could live with Under the Red Hood being 2 or 3, and I think we can leave it at 2 for now.
What about the Batman? Could we put that in at 3, and then we can give Under the Red Hood at 2?
Yeah, I feel like we're giving a lot of leeway to you and me right now. So maybe we let Justin have like the first look for the 4 spot if we do that.
So we're just kind of penciling it in right now.
So right now our top 3, which is just tentative, is The Dark Knight at number 1, Under the Red Hood at number 2, and The Batman at number 3.
Yeah. How you feel about that?
I feel pretty good. The problem is I would put another Batman movie at number 4.
What, is it Mask the Phantasm or Begins?
It would be Begins.
See, but I actually have Batman Begins at I have it at 5. So
You guys ride Batman Begins way too hard.
It is
Bro,
so good.
I have Begins as of right now over the Batman just off the last 2 viewings.
So unrememorable. I don't.
But it is.
It's not.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
The villain
Bro.
isn't good. The Dark Knight Rises is better
Dude,
just
it has
because of the villain.
Ra's al Ghul
the
being played
fights.
by Liam Neeson and
No.
Scarecrow played by
just-
Cillian Murphy.
Yo,
Yeah.
Those are better villains than Rises.
Yeah. It's
I
just-
love Tom Hardy.
that
love Tom
movie
Hardy.
is Batman. The movie is
Yeah.
Batman.
I don't know, man.
The opening lines are so iconic. I can't believe you said not memorable, bro. And he's like, you're not the devil.
Yes. Don't remember it. Don't remember it.
Dude, even one of my favorite scenes is the mud fight scene. It's like
yeah.
the most random thing, but even a small scene like that,
what
I
the
still remember. Yeah, I still remember that all the
Rachel
time.
was like, you can engage 7 men. I can teach you to engage 700. Like, there's so many iconic lines.
Like-
The fight out on the ice where he's like, your father wasn't like prepared to act. He's like, I've had training.
Like you took my advice for theatricality quite literally. Like, there's a lot of levity in Liam Neeson's character.
I'm Batman. So, the first appearance of him in the Batsuit, dude, how is that not memorable? The
it's just
fucking
not-
Where did you have it?
Batmobile driving across the roofs of the city?
Did you have it on your list?
It was towards the bottom. 8. 8.
So if because
Which my list is I'd say like my top 4 or 5. They're in like the right spots, and then after that, it kind of just became a list.
yeah,
So like somewhere around
more
there.
malleable.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because you just watched Death of Superman. I have that in my actual 4 spot. Where did Death of Superman, did it land in your top 10 when you watched it?
That was it did. That was more of his thing. That was a last minute watch. I literally watched it on the flight last night, and I just put it at the bottom, but I didn't actually rank it in there because I didn't know how to feel about it yet until today. But I would definitely see it being higher, like probably between 7 and 5. I could see it landing somewhere in there.
I can live with that.
That movie was
Guys,
really freaking
guys, It was good, but it was just like a long TV show episode. It wasn't like a complete movie.
It was.
You know, like it
was.
wasn't though.
It was-
wasn't.
They fit so much Superman characterization into within a fight.
Also-
good. And I did not expect every member of the Justice League to show up in that
Yeah,
movie.
Cyborg getting clapped, Batman getting clapped, Green
Yo.
Lantern, Wonder Woman. Dude, Wonder Woman,
Batman-
when she goes on,
Dude, that was cool.
Woman starts kicking ass.
That was cool. Batman
hair
was a
comes undone.
wuss though. Oh my gosh! Like every time he was on the screen, I'm like, what is this guy gonna do?
he was
What is he
fighting-
gonna
I mean,
do?
He was fighting
Like,
Doomsday.
That's the
He's supposed to be.
problem I have
But-
with Batman. Every time I see him on screen with other members of the Justice League, I'm like, what is this guy doing here? He doesn't belong here. He doesn't have superpowers.
Have you seen the
His suit? He just got stabbed in the stomach by the Joker in The Dark Knight Returns. Like, he doesn't even have an armor on. Like, this guy,
Bro.
why is he in
Alright,
this?
no-
Do they make
Dude,
like, do they make like anti-knife armor though? You have to be wearing like a metal suit, which he does in some iterations, but that's like for fighting Superman shit.
I will not
Well, like,
appreciate
even,
Dark Knight
um,
Returns slander here.
Even The Dark Knight. Batman, Christian Bale's Batman. He's got an armor on.
Yeah, but like with the
He got stabbed
bite through
first.
it.
Yeah, but he's not in those movies. He's not in contention with Superman. He's not there with the Flash. He's, like he's in his
No, I mean,
own
it
world.
makes it a lot harder for him to fight those people, but the fact that he's still able to hold his own in some
Yeah, but I don't
instances is
believe
crazy.
it that he
Well,
is.
he uses
Like,
tools like you see him flying around in like the Batwing.
I mean-
and stuff like firing missiles and throwing bombs.
Death of Superman, it wasn't the best Batman fight sequences, but
It's
it
a movie
wasn't.
about
It was
Yeah,
about Superman.
and that's
so
fine.
like,
That's fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out that was that was.
But
hard
dude,
to
the
watch.
Superman when the bridge comes down and Superman catches it on top of that little kid, and they pan down and he's holding the kid's game console like he saved the kid's
Yeah.
video game. That is like the most
Yeah,
Superman thing
yeah.
I've ever seen.
I feel like it just
Smiling
really
at the little kid while he's
really-
holding the weight of the world, buckling, like bleeding.
it really picked up at the end, but the first part was it was all right, and then it was over. Like it was so short. It just didn't feel like a
short,
movie. It
but-
just felt like an unconnected episode that I just hadn't seen the episodes before, and I haven't seen the episodes after. I also didn't like how they showed us that he lived at the end. I feel like it would have been more impactful if he just stayed dead for a little while and we had to like sit with it, you know?
I don't feel like it devalued it at all. The way to sacrifice, I feel like was huge, and I feel like they fit so much into it. What you're calling a short movie, like
The villain.
they developed him. He landed.
Like Doomsday?
He came through different cities. His armor was coming off slowly, and then they have so much development in as well for Superman. His relationship with Lois Lane. Like by the end of it, I'm like, my eyes are watering up.
Yeah, that was emotional.
bro, Doomsday's
really cool.
awesome in that movie.
But like there was no real development about him at all. Like we didn't know his motivations, what he was doing there, who he was. They
Well,
said his name
motivation was
once.
to
Like
destroy. They're like,
yeah,
oh,
but like
he's pure.
that's
pure-
not a
pure
complete
primal.
villain. Like there wasn't a complete story there. You know, like not everyone had like the arc that I was looking for in like a movie.
I feel like everyone
It was all really cool, but like to be 4 or 5 on this list, that's too high.
I feel like they were displayed in ways that were really true to the characters. Like maybe you're saying it felt like something where you had to know stuff about it before.
yeah, like
If you know
I'm
the
not saying it's
characters.
bad. It just didn't
Well,
feel like
was
a
this-
complete movie.
this was probably connected to quite a few other movies that I haven't seen either.
Yeah.
I appreciated it,
I mean-
but like I want to see what was before and what was after.
Yeah,
because I
like-
feel like it
Okay,
would've
don't
been-
watch Reign of Superman. That movie's bad. That's the movie that comes after. I don't like it at all.
But
Gosh,
so,
it set
so,
up such a good movie, and then it just
so what you guys are saying, like it is a cool movie. Like it is cool to see the Justice League come in there. I wasn't expecting that either. They were in it for a lot too.
I know, yeah.
But I mean, one punch on the Flash, he was out. You know, like
because it was Superman's movie.
I know, but like it just didn't feel.
It wasn't Justice League movie.
I know, but it was just. It felt like it needed to
I
be.
could see that,
It needed
but-
to be 30 minutes longer. Everyone else get a little bit more of a time to shine. Them kind of work together a little bit more.
to me, they
to
effectively
make a complete movie.
They effectively made the plot point of Superman is the only one for this job. So
Yeah.
if Superman fails, the Earth is fucked. There's like
Yeah.
if Superman, this is the 11th hour. This is like
Lex
you have to
Luthor
bring-
was unnecessary in this movie.
but he's a staple of the Superman universe. I mean,
Yeah, but he didn't need to be there.
put some
It
Jimmy
was just
Olsen
a
in there,
distraction.
like-
There could have been
Yeah.
more development of Doomsday. Like, how did he get to Earth? Why is he there?
But how do you develop something that's just a caveman that's just bent on just
Explain where he came from. Explain why he came to Earth.
You want like the flashback to Doomsday as a little boy where he's like playing catch with his
no,
dad.
not necessarily. But
he
like,
kills his mom.
I just want a
Becomes
little
rage
bit more.
monster, like he. I don't
don't
think
know.
Doomsday needed it personally. He's a monster. He's a movie monster. His development was in seeing him defeat every member of the Justice League, like breaking them like toothpicks. And then
Yeah.
it's like, damn, Superman needs to step up and fight this guy because he's literally Timothy Hims. Like,
Yeah. Again, cool story, but I don't think it's enough to go on the top 10 list in the 4 or 5 spot.
I can move it down to.
What about between 7 and 5? Maybe.
What if we put
7
it
or
in
6?
at 8?
8.
We pencil it in. We kind of see where everything else comes in.
It's
At.
not.
Okay.
It's not the Andrew list, so 8 is fine. If it was the
It's not the Andrew list, so it is fine. Yeah, the one that I would really want to be in the top 5 is Dark Knight Returns. I actually had it at 3.
And so everyone knowing it's a part 1, part 2. We're just combining it into one movie.
Oh, are we? I have Dark
I
Knight.
consider them one.
I have specifically Dark Knight Returns Part 2 above Part 1, and I have it in at 10 actually, so like really low.
Can we just put them both together?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of cheating, but if you guys want to make it easy on yourselves, Part 2 is the better
Because-
part. Part 2 has all the best parts.
The only reason I'm saying that is because they did release it as one movie a year after each part came out. So technically, it is in existence as one full, almost 3-hour movie. And that's how I watched it the third time I viewed it, which made it even better.
I mean, 3 hours is a reasonable length for a movie. It's just long for an animated movie.
It is.
If you count it as one movie, it's like the longest ever animated.
Amen.
feature film.
Perfection. But
Which is
regardless,
Across the Spider-Verse.
whether it's both of them or just part 2, I think it deserves to be definitely in the top 5.
So that's my favorite ever Batman comic, and the adaptation is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the fight with the the king, not the king, but the leader of the mutants.
The mutant, yeah.
And the fight with, you have a fight with Joker, you have a fight with, Batman versus Superman, the inspiration for Batman versus
The
Superman.
OG Batman versus Superman fight.
Yeah, and
You got Oliver in there.
Oh my god.
See, Batman's strength level and skill like just doesn't line up. It doesn't match. It's not
because he's
consistent.
Batman.
I know, but it's not consistent. It just bothers me. It's all really cool, but it's not consistent.
But if
Like he gets his butt whooped by the mutant guy, comes back. That's understandable, right? Because he's just returning after 10 years of taking off, and he's 55.
Yeah,
but then he comes back. He
returns.
Yeah.
fights the mutant guy again. Shows him what's up.
You're on my
comes
operating
in,
table.
Bro, and I'm
can
the surgeon.
barely take out the Joker, who's like this scrawny little
Yo, but
guy.
I
like,
appreciate the fact that the Joker was able to put up a fight.
He has some moves.
yeah, but like,
Swifty.
how? This guy fights
Well,
Superman. How
Batman's
is this
older.
little guy
Think about it.
able
I
to
mean,
stab him 3 times
There's
in the
stuff
stomach?
like
Some
Joker's
iterations.
fought him for over 20 years. He's
No,
probably learned
that's
a thing
another
or
thing. He should
two.
have just killed him a long time
Well,
ago.
I mean,
In some iterations, Joker is a skilled fighter. In some iterations, Batman gets his hands on him and it's done.
Yeah,
You know, it's just that.
hey, regardless of how bad Suicide Squad is, that Joker was ripped, so he clearly got in the gym.
Dude,
so like
Joker is doing
some
crunches every day.
iterations are prepared to fight back, even though they're going to lose regardless.
Joker
But
was doing some jujitsu outside.
I don't know, man.
But-
It just doesn't line up to me. It's not all. It's all cool, but
you're talking about the fighting with the Joker or fighting with Superman?
Batman's skill level he's talking about.
Yeah.
But
it is cool that he had the suit for Superman. Like when he's wearing the suit, I believe like okay, he actually belongs in the Justice League.
bro,
he
drawing
fits
the
in.
power from the city power,
Yeah,
the shock
that
of
was cool.
Superman.
That was all really cool.
Like, I see what you're saying about Batman's skill level varying, but like the simple response to that is shut up.
I don't even know what to say to that.
The greatest clip I've ever heard on this podcast.
It's not even a valid argument.
I thought he was
Like,
going to be like, but like Iron
me
Man from the MCU.
That's showing me that I got you in the corner and you don't know how to get out of there.
No, but like Batman, he's Batgoat, and then so on the one end you have plot armor. That's Batgoat. And
Yeah,
on the
it's a lot. You hate plot armor though. For any other character, if we were talking about this, you would hate
Batman.
it.
I find plot armor annoying, but it is a guaranteed thing in the fictional universe.
Yeah.
Especially in comic books, like they're not just gonna have Batman die every time he fights Bane
Yeah.
and then have a new Batman.
But like you don't like it that much when it's in John Wick or something. But
knew you
because
were
it's
gonna- I knew you were
Batman,
gonna
like
say
you
that.
overlook it. You know, like
I overlook it
it's
for
like
John Wick
I
too.
just close my eyes here and just like
I'd be okay seeing Bruce fall down 70 flights of stairs. Take it like a man.
But
I don't know.
Batman fights Superman because he knows Superman like the back of his hand. No matter how well you know the Joker, you can't really know the Joker. So he's gonna get played in terms of fighting the Joker because the Joker's unpredictable.
Also-
Superman is ultimately super predictable.
yeah. Also in part 2, he was getting shot a lot, Batman, and then sometimes the shots would actually puncture. Is he bulletproof?
I
or
feel
not?
like that's how Kevlar works, though. Some distances or some rounds
Maybe.
are
Maybe they just hit the bullet at the same spot.
maybe somebody has like armor piercing rounds. Somebody else has like a small.
he got
caliber
shot, and the
pistol.
one that hit was a handgun.
But-
and he's being attacked by assault rifles.
Yeah.
I just feel like the consistency in part 2 was kind of all over the place.
I mean,
Those movies are goated. So.
you're gonna have a tough time looking for consistency in like an animated movie about a guy fighting
I know.
superheroes.
But for some
that's what our
reason-
commenters are gonna say. So I'll say
I know. But for some reason, for part 2, I just couldn't get over it. For Death of Superman, like it was just there. Like I just couldn't get over it. I really did enjoy part 1 a lot.
So did you like part 1 more than 2?
I like part 1 more than 2.
That's interesting. That's
It
the first
felt
time
more
I've heard that.
grounded. The story had a beginning, middle, end. It was
Dude, when the mutants
was
come at
great.
him, in like Crime Alley or whatever, like and
Shiv.
yeah.
he's into it, Spud. And he's like, come on! Like I was like juicing off that. It was like Batman's about to knock these mutants' heads together.
Yeah.
It's like 60-year-old Batman.
It was hype, right?
He's so intimidating. He's huge in Dark
Yeah.
Knight Returns, and like he looks like the most menacing old man with his like big mustache and
Yeah.
like super jacked like chest, and like he's so cool, intimidating in Dark Knight Returns. I love it because Frank Miller just created like the best world, like this like dystopian Gotham. Batman's retired and Gotham still has all these problems, so Batman has to come back, and he kind of loves it that he's coming back. You know, he's like in the part one, he's like flipping a Formula One car just to find a taste of the thrill
Danger,
of like
yeah.
risking his life again and easily surviving it because he's Batman. He's old, but he's goddamn Batman.
His helmet was a little telling, but I digress.
And then having Carrie Kelly's Robin in there.
Yeah, an alternate approach to Robin, who I
freaking
think
good.
is
That
was
phenomenal
cool.
in
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns in the
Yeah.
comics and the movie. Like she does not take shit from Batman. Like
Yeah.
he consistently is like, you're Robin. Like you have to be a cadet. You have to be a soldier. Do what I tell you. Like to live. And she's consistently like, no, I'm gonna fly the Batwing. And she's like saves his life like 3 damn times
Yeah.
as like
Yeah.
a young new to being Robin. So she's a super lovable character. And I think she's awesome. There's so many good characters, dude. Even the like numbskull mutant gang leader like is just interesting to me. He's so
Yeah, he was
obsessed
cool.
with himself.
He was cool. I was telling Justin that it'd be cool to recreate that fight because it was all all like grounded.
Yeah.
You know,
It
like
was
that'd be really cool, right?
Yeah, that would be really cool. And in some mud too.
Yeah.
Like really get it in there with
Yeah,
it.
it'd be cool.
We have
film it.
to move on to some more movies though.
We have to.
So
start
what
filling
did
in
we
some
decide
blanks here.
though? Like where do we want returns?
Are we doing it as one movie or do you want to break it up?
put it as one. It helps it out more.
Yeah.
Can you stomach putting it at 5 or 6?
5, yeah. I'm cool with 5.
5's good with me. So all we got
The
to
more I talk
do.
about it, the higher I want it.
Yeah.
These movies on any given day could shift orders for me other than The Dark Knight.
I had this at number 3.
Dark Knight Returns.
All we got to do is find another Batman movie for number 4, and I think
Right
we're
now,
solid.
we have our top 3, The Dark Knight, Under the Red Hood, then The Batman. And then at 5, we have Dark Knight Returns, part 1 and 2. At 8, we have Death of Superman. All right, so what are we looking at next, boys? Aaron, why don't you make a suggestion?
What about Man of Steel?
Like I said, I have it at 9.
I have it at 3. I really like that movie. I really like the physics behind the movie. Like Superman felt real. He felt like he was actually here on Earth,
Yeah.
like today.
It's easily the best movie in the DCEU.
Yes, easily.
Yes.
And that's
And-
because I think Chris Nolan and Jonathan Nolan were involved in the writing.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was so good. The visuals were great. I love the
music-
suit. I know some people
music
don't,
is phenomenal.
But yeah,
Oh, music's so good.
Yeah.
I would like to see it at 4.
Good old Hans, man.
I'd like to see it at 4. I feel like I've
I mean,
given some leeway here.
I had it at 5, so if we put it at 4, I'd be even more happy.
It's dragging way up for me, but since you both have it so high, let's put it at 4.
Okay, and we can shift things around a little bit.
We
But
might have to because I just remembered one movie on my list.
if you're listening all the way to this point, thank you so much. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we post new full episodes every Monday and Thursday, so you can keep up to date if you do hit that subscribe button with all of our episodes. That's beautiful. This is touching. And just giving Justin a ring. Just
gotta let it happen.
That's cute. Justin, how do you feel about our list so far?
I feel pretty good. I feel
Upset
good.
about anything.
I think a couple of them might move around. Like I could see Death of Superman moving maybe up a little bit, and the other ones are pretty solid. Though I'm not gonna lie. But the next movie I had in mind, which kind of threw me for a loop when we put Man of Steel at 4, was the classic Steel. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox. That movie,
Yes.
I freaking love that movie.
So I told you guys I showed my list to Zach, and I have Flashpoint Paradox at number 8 on my top DC movies of all time. That's the one comment that Zach had on my list. He's been on the show before. If you watch our other episodes, he said that he wished that Flashpoint Paradox was higher on my list.
Yeah.
Which Flashpoint Paradox has, in my opinion, probably the best single scene depicting the entirety of the Justice League at the opening, where we get to see all different Justice League members of deal with the bombs from Reverse Flash in their own individual unique ways with teamwork.
Yep.
Like Green Lantern takes Batman out to space and puts him in an orb of protection so that like if the bomb isn't defused, the only person that's hurt is Batman. And then Batman, we get to see him use like his own ingenuity and intelligence and his tech to defuse the bomb. Superman just puts his hands over the bomb and just cockily, like, is that even a word? But with a cocky look, just
Cockily.
like looks at the whoever he has, Mirror Master or whatever, and just holds the bomb until it explodes and encases it in his own hands. Like everybody, like Aquaman uses little tiny microscopic creatures to eat away at the bomb. A cyborg disarms the bomb with technology. Like, we get to see every individual Justice League member work in contention with each other, and we get to see their own unique skill set, how they solve it. And it's just so flawless because the Flash is the only one left with Reverse Flash, and he uses his old noodle and his powers to defuse the last bomb too. So like, it's just freaking awesome. And then you get to the alternate world stuff, you get to see them play with so much creativity, seeing Thomas Wayne Batman, seeing a Batman with damn dual wielding pistols, killing people, throwing people off buildings. You get to see like the Shazam family. Like,
Man, there's so much stuff in that movie, bro.
Dude, evil Aquaman versus evil Wonder Woman fighting each other.
Everything that we wanted in the Flash.
And bro, what we really didn't get in the Flash was that sun-starved Superman in the white suit. I know they replaced it with Kal-El. Kal-El?
Supergirl?
Yeah.
Kara Zor-El?
Yeah. But man, Superman in that white suit just unleashing havoc in Flashpoint Paradox, where his
Bro, it looked like me.
Just
Like, if I just like floated up like
Justin
that.
up there in the air.
damn, I mean,
But yeah.
Let's not get ahead of yourself. He's a little taller.
that movie has so much to it.
I think I'm a little meatier too, so.
But I'm happy with that in 6. Flashpoint Paradox has so much. It's an incredible Elseworld story.
Yeah, I would leave it at 6 for now. I do like it more than the Batman and Man of Steel, but for the sake of all of us, agreeing on this, I think 6 is actually a really solid spot. I don't think Aaron Flash Ping.
Yeah.
I don't think Aaron had this on his list, so I think 6 is the best we're gonna get.
It was on my radar.
I think let's take our win.
I don't know why the DC animated movies just aren't my favorite. I think part of it is just the animated style. Like it does feel a little bit more on like the childish side, or not even that, but like I wish they had more time and money to put into it. Like the Long Halloween, that looked fantastic.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell as good of a story.
I know.
I still haven't
And
finished.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it just never lands.
I like the bold, thick line work on there. Like that reminds me of like Invincible, but
I feel like
not a fan of.
I feel like a lot of the animation is not like they're not using, to me, the animation to really like tell the story in a different way. Like I don't know, like Across the Spider-Verse, like that was freaking fantastic. Inventive. Like the style like really brings you into the story.
But dude, if you're gonna pick Across the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse to compare anything to, it's like hardly fair. Like you can't just pick the best animated thing ever.
We're doing a top 10 list.
Yeah, but
This is like the best of the best. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's not
hard
the standard.
Yeah, but it's hard for me to bring these like animated movies that maybe didn't have as much attention or resources put into them into like comparing them against movies, like live action movies.
We did not put Batman Begins on here yet.
Oh,
So speaking of live action movies, right? I have 3 live action movies in mind right now that I just have to get a feel for how you guys feel about them.
Right.
One I just mentioned, Batman Begins. The other 2 are a little bit not as much thought of when it comes to top DC movies, I think. But Watchmen and V for Vendetta.
I knew it was gonna be those two. I haven't seen Watchmen yet.
Don't waste your time.
No, I'm going to waste all the time to watch that. I'm actually planning on watching it. Like,
Waste your time.
Don't waste your time.
I was planning on watching it tomorrow night, but
Started reading the comic, not good. Started watching the movie,
Listen,
not good.
you know,
The opening is so good.
I literally commented on your post, "Do you like Snyder?" and said yes. So that movie's up my alley.
Bro, the opening with the comedian fight scene is freaking fantastic. What do you mean you started watching it and it wasn't good? That's such a good fight scene.
Yeah, the story just isn't there for me.
What do
Yeah.
you mean?
Exactly
One of the
what
most
I mean. It was boring. It was
one of the most celebrated stories in comic book history.
no. It's celebrated because it's an accurate
No, not the movie. The story. The comic book is one of the most celebrated stories in comic book history.
I'm sitting this one out.
Yeah, it's just not that good. Like I stopped reading the comic, haven't thought about it since. I stopped watching the movie halfway through, haven't thought about rewatching it or finishing it at all. It's just not good. It's not captivating.
But
It didn't get me into it.
But you have
all.
to know that you're the outlier. Like you have to know that you.
Yeah, but just
needle.
like you, I'm always right.
Not both of us can't always be right, buddy. So pump your brakes. But like Watchmen belongs in any top 10 DC movies list. Like what can I? How can we bargain for that? Like, what can I give you to give it a spot?
I don't know. I'd rather
Put the Batman at
I'd
one.
rather talk about V for Vendetta.
Which is also a great movie. Like, I could easily see V for Vendetta at the 7. I mean, I enjoy watching V for Vendetta more than, definitely more than Flashpoint Paradox, I would say. Even though I think they're both phenomenal. Like, when we're talking about top 10, all these movies are phenomenal. Like, putting one above the other is not a stain on Flashpoint Paradox at all. But I freaking love V for Vendetta. It tells this super cool anarchist story with, like...
Have you seen it?
I have.
Do you not like it?
I
Don't be afraid to face him.
No, I really don't remember much of the movie. It was one of those days. Listen, let me explain myself. I need to rewatch it again because it was one of those days.
Remember the 5th of November, not forget. It was supposed to remember the movie.
It was one of those days where we had watched 3 movies and then we were like, oh, let's put on V. And then that was the 4th movie and it was 2 in the morning.
Brutal.
And I was like,
Bro, I don't care.
That makes any movie
I
bad.
don't care if you have to snort a line of coke. You wake up and watch V for Vendetta. Salute the flag, damn it.
so I'm going to stay out of that one too. But I know that I'm probably going to love Watchmen. V for Vendetta on a rewatch, I'm going to like too.
See, I knew that I was going to be frustrated doing this because of this kind of stuff. Like, I knew that I wasn't going to get my way enough. And I knew that this was gonna.
You get 1.
What? I have to pick. I have to pick.
No, like 1 at 7, and then Watchmen. I guess you fight with Aaron or whatever. Because I feel like V, he's okay with leaving at 7, or
V
6.
is so good. Me and Aaron watched this together. That was your first time watching it.
Yeah.
And you like it. So V has really, really deep themes, like just like Watchmen, because they're both Alan Moore stories. He wrote the comics, and V, like the themes about your government serving you instead of you having to serve your government, the themes run so deep. Like it sends a message way beyond just comic books and it's a message about right and wrong. It's a message about, it's very political. It's very human, very moral. It's about our responsibilities as people to stand up to our government when our government's not doing us justice. And like, I feel like it has like a wave behind it of like very intense meaning to a lot of people because the literal mask that V wears is a symbol of
I had that mask before I even knew what it was from.
Because it's so cool.
Like,
but I think it's misconstrued as just lawlessness and anarchism when that's not what the story is about. The story is about standing up to tyrannical forces.
See, I think that's why it was hard for me to get into at that time because it was super late. I was tired and I wasn't ready for. I didn't know what the movie was. I hear DC movie and I think it's like a typical superhero movie.
But this is so much more. I think.
Yeah.
Like it's really crazy and really timely too because the movie addresses like a mass plague. Spoilers if you haven't seen V for Vendetta, but it addresses a mass plague, like a pandemic, like we just recently went through a couple of years ago, and then it addresses the government using that opportunity to kind of take over and institute martial law and slowly but surely like strip away people's freedoms and their ability to choose. And V, the main character, is a symbol of breaking down, dismantling the system that is controlling people's lives. And I think that there's a lot lessons that can be learned from this story. I mean, people tend to go with the flow. Like you do what's easiest for yourself. You might complain about something, but not do anything about it. And V is about going against all of those values and doing the right thing and standing up when it's hard to. And like the writing is so crisp and clean. It's just so phenomenally acted and performed. Natalie Portman, Hugo Weaving. Yes, he's so good as me. You never see this man's face. You never see his face in the whole movie, but his voice tells you everything you need to know so damn flawlessly.
Yo, if that movie was made today, they would have taken off
for sure.
10 minutes.
For sure.
Yeah. To show like an actor's face.
Yeah.
Show
him getting ready in the morning, brushing his teeth.
Halo, Mando.
First of all, it'd be Tom Holland. And it would be him taking off his mask to like
Timothy
reveal his, like,
Chalamet.
handsome. Yeah. But dude, that mirror shot, the shot through the eyes of the mask as he's putting it on to where you don't see his face. One of the craziest like mirror shots that I've ever seen in a movie. The movie's super well filmed. I mean, you can tell some of the dated aspects of the explosions, but I still think it holds up really well.
Even cooler though.
Yeah, I think you can see a little bit of the CG, but like it still looks really well, holds up the test of time. But so many of the most iconic lines. I mean, there's a line where he says specifically like, the government should serve the people shouldn't serve the government. Like there's so many important values in this movie. I think it belongs on the list for cultural impact.
So what about Batman Begins?
I mean, I think 9 is way too low
Yeah.
for Batman Begins personally, but if you guys want to reshuffle or whatever.
You want to write it in at 9, and then we'll
No.
talk about the last one and see what we have at the
Justin said
10.
that's too much disrespect.
I can't put Begins at 9. No.
He's Aaron's typing anyway, in case you're...
But then again, I can't really defend V for Vendetta right now, but I think Begins deserves to be at 6 or 7. So maybe we push Flashpoint down and keep Begins and V at 6 and 7
I'm okay with that.
and push Flashpoint right under those two at 8, which kills me, but I can survive.
My list is basically just reshuffled right now.
So
this is
Flashpoint move down, and everything else move up one?
No, Begins,
and Flashpoint switch.
yeah.
I'm cool with that. Are you cool with that?
I'm fine with that. I hate to see Flashpoint go even lower than it was on my list, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make because I'm a Chris Nolan
Why is he
lover.
keep doing that?
I don't know. It might
I'm
be the
hitting
keyboard.
paste.
Like I need
Control,
Begins high. Like Begins is the movie, I said this before on the podcast, where Chris Nolan's thumbprint is on the movie the most. Like
Yeah.
the way the movie is told through switching back and forth between the origin of Batman as a young child, his backstory and his training, plus switching back to his first days walking the streets of Gotham as Batman, is just beautiful Chris Nolan classic storytelling, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so flawless where the story seems chronological. Like it seems like you're not lost at all, at least in my
Yeah.
opinion.
You understand it the whole way through.
It cuts back and forth. The edit is flawless. The edit's spectacular.
The way it looks. The music, yet again, Hans Zimmer.
So many iconic lines. You've got Liam
Molasses.
Neeson, Cillian Murphy, Michael Caine, Christian Bale,
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. Like, you've got the one
Gary Oldman.
casts. Gary Oldman. Oh my God, Gary Oldman is Commissioner Gordon. He's such a good actor. But dude, the another iconic line when he first interacts with Commissioner Gordon with the stapler to the back of his head, and he's like, "You're just one man." And he's like, "Now we're two."
I do that all the time at the office. So I go behind John. I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
we're two.
Oh, it's so freaking good. And like at the very end when he's like, I may not kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting to see the introduction of all the
But he
Batman
can't do the
tech.
same thing to the Joker. Makes no sense.
It's
I
the
mean,
Joker, man.
He defeats the Joker without needing that in the Dark Knight, like that version of Batman. But I see what you're saying about Batman in general.
Yeah.
That's a little out there for like the Batman character in general, leaving somebody to die and would normally on Batman's radar be killing them, what he does at the end of that movie. But I can accept it. I mean, it's a dark universe, it's a realistic universe.
He let the train decide, you know? It's like,
He's like, you can engage 700 men, but can you engage a crashing train? Come on, Raish.
What movie are you guys thinking for this 10th spot? May not stay there, but like, what are the top 10 movies that we're at least talking about?
I can tell you
here?
what I'm thinking.
I mean, I have,
It's Watchmen for me.
there is 2 on my list, which I know one's probably going to not make it, which is Rises, which I'm fine with. Mask of the Phantasm, though.
Yeah, I was rewatching Mask of Phantasm today, and the the Bruce Timm verse. It really has a chokehold on the understanding of the Batman character. Like
I haven't seen that one.
It's
good.
It's really good.
It's honestly, I think it's one of the most funny pieces of Batman media. Like I was genuinely laughing out loud when I was rewatching it today.
Sounds terrible.
So many like little quippy
No,
jokes,
it's
not
really
necessarily from
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne or Batman, but like just a lot of quippy jokes like from Alfred and the love interest in the movie too.
Yeah,
What does
there's-
Alfred say? He's like, the people on the news are like calling Batman like crazy, and he's like, "You're not crazy, sir. By the way, I ironed your tights and pressed your cape." Alfred's so damn funny.
Thank you, Alfred.
So there's one movie that I know Andrew wasn't going to bring up, but I know you really like it.
Oh man,
And
if we're going down that route,
I
let's
feel like
do
you're
it.
just scared to bring it up, but I got you back.
I
Can I
kind
have a guess?
of forgot about it.
Yeah, like I thought it was a lot higher on your list.
I don't know what it is, but I have a guess.
You want to guess what it is?
My guess would be the Suicide Squad.
That is wrong.
Oh, what
That is
it?
wrong. I did really like that one. That one's on
Yeah.
my top 10.
Where'd you have it?
10?
10.
Probably.
No, it was the Suicide Squad. You did it.
That's
No, well, I only ranked like the top 4, and then after that, it kind of became a list. But it was at like 8 or 9, maybe 10.
So what is it? What's this mystery one that you guys are alluding? Oh, the Joker. The Joker. It's the Joker.
I didn't put it on my top 10 originally
I didn't think of it
because
for so long.
because I knew Andrew was going to fight us back, but
Yeah, but there's 2 of us.
I know.
No,
You want the
That's-
Joker in the top 10?
That's tough, though.
You put fear into this, man.
We're talking about, okay, so we're essentially debating whether Joker,
fear into them,
Watchmen, or Mask of the Phantasm should end up in number 10 at the top on the top 10 DC movies of all
For
time.
me, the middle ground, the collab, what do they call it in like a marriage? When you compromise.
Compromise.
My compromise would be to agree on Mask of the Phantasm for me personally, which would put us at what? 1,
Compromise
2,
would be
3,
Which
the
he
4,
hasn't
5,
seen yet.
Yeah,
6 Batman movies.
The Joker would be a compromise because we've all at least seen it.
I mean, I don't feel like that's what a compromise is. Just because we've seen it doesn't make it the best.
It's a top 10 list that's coming from all 3 of us. Plus, this movie, I feel like is everything that Andrew loves in a movie. But the fact that it's the Joker, you can't like disconnect from that.
I also don't like Taxi Driver that much. Like, I feel like this movie is literally just Todd Phillips doing his impression of Taxi Driver. And like,
It is, but then at the same time, The Dark Knight is Nolan's version of Heat, pretty much,
true. Yeah.
which is
but, like,
great. Like,
But
it's great.
He, in my opinion, elevated Heat and did it better.
And
I
added
still-
Batman.
I still don't. I mean, it's a tough task to elevate Taxi Driver, but like I said, I'm not even the biggest fan of Taxi Driver. I know it's a great movie, but it's like I put like 3 or 4 other Scorsese movies above it.
I haven't even seen Taxi Driver. I didn't want to watch it because I knew it would taint Joker for me. So, whether good or bad. But I don't know. Coming from a first time watch of Joker in the theater, I was blown away. And I didn't typically like a slower movie like that. I didn't know what to expect. I just really thought it was.
I think
like,
the Joker and the Batman, which is funny that it's just their names,
Yeah.
are the most cinematic of all these movies.
for sure.
And the most like that dives into the style of filmmaking, the art of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And that's just like a piece of my
I mean,
core.
it won 2
know?
Oscars, right? Best
I don't know
music.
how many, but we can look it
I
up.
think
it up.
that I think V for Vendetta is more cinematic than the Joker in my mind. Watchmen I find more cinematic.
Oh,
There was another one on
mean-
the list too that I thought was more cinematic.
I think
Man of Steel. I mean, Joker is more artsy, but I don't think that makes it more cinematic.
Joker is an art film for sure. Yeah. Wasn't it Best Actor and Best Music? Fingers crossed. If it won Best Actor, it has to go on this list,
I think Joaquin won Best Actor for this.
which was kind of unheard of because that's
For a superhero movie.
for a superhero movie, which it's not really a superhero movie, but it is. Like,
But I mean, Heath Ledger already did it.
that's true.
He won Best Supporting for posthumously for the
That just, man, Joker won twice.
I believe.
There's no debate for who the best villain is.
Aaron's
Well, if this would load,
Anyway,
Why
so
fucks?
Joker, Watchmen, or Mask of the Phantasm? I mean, my heart wants.
Well, I feel like Watchmen is just me, so I'm fine with it not going on there because
If I had watched
I don't wanna
it-
be like a dick, but
If I had
too
watched
late.
it, I probably would I probably would have agreed with you if I'd seen it by now, but I haven't yet.
Snyder in peak form.
It's like one of the only Snyder films I still haven't seen.
Aaron gave up on trying to find out.
yeah, it wouldn't load.
I mean, Mask of the Phantasm being beloved by so many Batman fans, considering it
Bro.
the best iteration of a Batman movie. And
So yeah, Joaquin Phoenix won for Best Actor, so I was right.
okay,
But Mask of Phantasm came out in 1993,
Yeah.
and to still be, and by a lot of people held
yep.
as a lot of people hold this as the best Batman movie ever,
Yeah.
and like that's with counting all these live action movies. So that is a popular favorite for best for best Batman movie, which is crazy because since 1993, just look at how many Batman movies are on this list alone. So many other ones have been made, like you said, The Long Halloween, or like Batman the anime movie, Batman versus the Turtles. Like there's like probably like a good
Yeah.
30 to 40 Batman movies that have been made since 1993, and Mask of the Phantasm still stands atop for a lot of people. Not for me personally, but I mean, you've got Kevin Conroy voicing Batman, the
Oh, I
best
know.
to ever do it, the best to hop on the mic. Rest in peace. He's so freaking awesome. Love him to death. Joker's in it as well with Mark Hamill.
Yep.
So it's it's amazing. I mean, it's fantastic. I could put it. I'll accept it on the top 10, but
I think it needs to be there.
I feel like Aaron wants Joker on there. Just
We can put it on
As
there.
much as I want to put Joker just to piss Andrew off, I think Massive Phantasm needs to be there.
I'm not a Joker fan, so
Guys, I don't know.
But
SM,
you're not a Joker fan,
TSM.
but you are a Joker fan.
Yeah, I'm a Joker the character fan, not Joker the movie fan.
Okay, so
Okay,
I'm
so
looking
we
at
like
this.
all of these movies that we have on our 10. So to recap right now in the order that we have them so far, we have The Dark Knight at 1, 2, we have Under the Red Hood, 3, The Batman, 4, Man of Steel, 5, The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and 2, 6 is Batman Begins, 7, V for Vendetta, 8, Death of Superman, 9, Flashpoint Paradox, 10, Mask of Phantasm.
I'm happy with this for me personally because everything on my personal list made it other than Watchmen. I'm a little steamed about Watchmen, but different strokes for different folks. I get it. I think it's kind of a polarizing movie when it comes to comic book fans. Some people really hate it. I think people either really hate it or really love it. But I obviously have to be happy with 9 out of 10. What are you guys feeling right now?
So I got 9 out of 10 also. The only one that didn't make it was Rises.
So we had very similar lists.
So
Yeah, I'm cool with these movies on here too. I think the only one I haven't seen is the 10, Mask of Phantasm. Now, what about the order? Do we like the top 3? I kind of bolded them out here.
The top 3 are all Batman movies, so.
But do we like that order there? Are we good to lock those 3 in?
I would personally move the Batman lower, but my top 2 are exactly what I wrote down. So 2,
I cannot move the Batman.
that's a high success rate. Yeah, I know. I expect you not to accept that.
Yeah. Just
don't look at me.
Top 3.
No, I think the top 3 are solid.
okay, cool. What about Man of Steel at 4? Do we like that? Man of Steel going once, going twice.
It needs to be there.
I would literally switch Man of Steel with Mask of Phantasm, and then the first 6 would be Batman movies, and I could live happily with that. But I do love Man of Steel. We barely talked about it.
Man of Steel is amazing. Everyone who hates it should go reconsider their entire lives.
I was going to say something so much
Yeah.
more. Everybody who hates it should
I just had
really take a critical look at the movie. Write some Cornell notes out and kind of just analyze it, and you'll come to the realization that it is good.
I genuinely do not understand why there's so much hate for it because it's
neither.
just
Let's talk about the scene at the end where the controversial part of the movie, in my opinion, where Superman kills Zod.
Yo, he does it in
why people
Superman 2,
I think that's why people don't like it.
and no one complains about it in Superman 2, but then they complain about it in Man of Steel. It makes no sense.
Yeah, Superman 2 is also like super beloved. It was
Yeah.
in Watch Mojo's top 10.
Yeah. So
That's the one with Zod, right?
yeah,
That's the Chris
he
Reeve
literally.
Zod.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but like, you care?
No, go.
He literally kills Zod.
for it.
He
I already
kills.
said that.
He kills Zod. Sorry,
How
whatever.
realistically do Zod is Superman, except like just with a different mentality. Like Zod
Yeah.
is a Kryptonian come to Earth.
Yeah.
How do you contain Superman? I mean, either he's going to trap him again in the what's it called,
Phantom Zone, yeah.
or he's going to kill him.
But he already got out of the Phantom Zone, so
Yeah, he already did it once, and the risk of trying to save his life and trap him in the Phantom Zone with the damage that a Kryptonian can do on Earth
Yeah.
is endangering so many human lives.
And I agree with the decision too.
Me too.
But then it's like, why doesn't Batman kill Joker?
Well, the thing is, on that one, because of him killing Zod, that's what creates his code
Yeah.
in the future movies, which weren't that many of not wanting to kill anymore.
No, I like that part of the movie. I think it's
Yeah.
justified.
He's put in a situation in that movie where he would literally have to basically be culpable for the death of like a family or snap his neck.
Yeah.
Like that, the situation he's put in.
I mean, the
is very particular.
family could have easily moved.
I mean, would you not be like terrified and shitting yourself though?
I would be running.
Bro, that thing was probably hot too. Like even though they were a few feet away, that's probably like straight up solar power heat.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's one thing. Superman in general, like people don't like how he's dark, brooding.
I like seeing some Superman rage in that movie. Like, Superman
Yeah.
goes off when he's like,
Bro, in the IHOP fight
away from
sequence.
my mother.
Oh man, dude. I replayed that part of the trailer or the TV spot so much before it came out.
or no, he says what? Like, you think
You could threaten my mother.
dude, just beating him through a cornfield, like when he's been on Earth for longer, so he has the like more control over his senses and abilities than they do. So he's really had like a little bit of an advantage at that point, but they're outnumbering him. So like, it's such a cool dynamic in that scene. The
climax fight sequence being one of the
So
most
good.
visually stunning Superman scenes ever.
Because these two gods go toe to toe, like and Snyder fully unleashes them. Like,
Yeah.
he's not pretending to protect these imaginary civilians.
And it
like,
looks so good too.
It's
Like
fantastic.
it is probably one of the best superhero CGI done and like
It looks real.
ever. Yeah.
but also just addressing the realistic nature of a battle of that scale, where so many movies are like a car just gets obliterated, and they're like, yeah, that hero just like took him out. It's like
Yeah.
they're dead. They crushed a car with someone in it. They're dead. This movie acknowledges that. It's like they're bashing through skyscrapers. Like people are dying.
And that was another
It's the
complaint.
cost of him trying to save the world.
That's why in BVS they took the fight to Stryker's Island because people complained and hated Man of Steel for fighting in the city. But like when you watch the animated stuff, there are so many buildings that are destroyed, and there's people in there. It's not just empty buildings.
Dude, watch Invincible. Like they show.
So like, what's the
like,
difference? Is it
highlight
just because it's Superman?
Yeah.
This is his first time fighting someone who came to Earth, and he's from his planet.
And typically the villain picks the location of the fight because they're the one that's
Yeah.
trying to do bad.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't like Superman was like, sent him a notification like, hey, meet me in Times Square.
Meet me outside the bar.
Okay, so we got Man of Steel locked in at 4. I'm cool with locking in the next 2 as
Yeah.
well, if you like those.
I'm happy with that. I mean, Batman Begins to me has to be on the list. Batman Begins, for me personally, is almost like up there neck and neck with The Dark Knight, which is like my favorite movie of all time.
I used to think it was better than Dark Knight.
That's not even an unreasonable opinion, and so
Yeah.
many people will act like it is.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, Rises is better." Rises is factually not better, objectively not better. The story's not as good. The villains aren't as good.
It's still a great movie, but
all great.
compared to the other two, miles difference.
I think they're leagues above, and I think people will act like Dark Knight is so far ahead of Begins when Begins is really
Yeah.
so good. Like
It's
the
so
character
good.
development in it is amazing. The storytelling is so good. The way that they switch back and forth. The creation of Batman in that movie is like the best it's ever done. They prove how he goes to talk to the mob boss and he's like, I could kill you right here in front of everybody and nobody would bat an eye. That's fear. That's like, you can't buy that. They form the mentality of Batman, why he has to be feared, why he couldn't become a lawyer, a politician, because Gotham has problems that only that a vigilante can solve.
Yeah.
There's problems that have to be solved in Gotham outside of the system. That's why he has to break the law. It's not because he's just broken as a person and he wants to put on a suit and beat people to a pulp. He saw one route to his goal. He made a vow to his parents that he would protect Gotham, and like they tell that story so beautifully. Like they spell it out so well in that bar scene. I think is one of the best Batman scenes where Batman's mentality is birthed. And not only that, but I've said it again and again, how he goes across the world and says, I knew what it was like to steal for the first time so I wouldn't starve. He understands the mentality of some of these criminals. He knows that some people aren't bad, that some people are doing what they have to do, and he's been in those shoes. So for him to make those decisions about who deserves to be punished, he's not making that from the position of Bruce Wayne, of the white collar, rich, handed everything in life. He spent years like groveling in the dirt, fighting, like doing what he had to do just like those people. So he takes that into account. And I think that makes it such a special iteration of Batman.
That was a masterclass explanation of Begins. I feel like I just literally sat in school right now.
Bro, I could
But everything is 100% right. Like,
do an 2-hour thought piece on Batman Begins, and pure character development in that movie is so good.
it's going to start his own TED Talk now.
Give me a little earpiece. The one, the little mic that sticks out.
Talking about it makes me kind of want to put it at 5.
I'll switch it right now with Dark Knight Returns.
Because, like,
It's hard though, because Dark Knight Returns we gave it part 1 and part 2, so that's a
great.
lot.
They're both.
The story
I
of the
could leave it
perspective
there.
of Batman coming back as an old man.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a fresh flavor on the character.
Hey, Andrew's going to talk about this.
I'll talk about it for 10
and
minutes,
then you'll
bro.
be cool with it at 5.
No.
Let's
But
leave it
no,
at 5.
yeah, I'm going to leave it at 5 because it's what Rise has tried to do and just failed
They did so much better.
miserably.
The taste of this movie, like I said, is such a different flavor from other versions of Batman. Because, like, there's 500 Batman stories between comics and movies. And this old man Batman story that Frank Miller came up with is just like chef's kiss.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
It's different.
really
It's
cool.
unique. Batman's like, his joints are hurting, he's coming back. He's weathered.
What do you guys think about these next 4? For me personally, we can put these next 4 in any order, and I'm cool with it.
I'm struggling a little bit with the placement of. I think V is fine where it is.
Thank goodness, because V for Vendetta is a top 10
No,
of all time for me.
it was mainly
All time.
Jeez. We need to do our
Whoa, whoa,
list.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
We need to do like a top
all
50
time.
list.
Is it like 10 to 5 or 5 to 1? Probably 10 to 5, right? Or is it 5 to 1?
It's probably in the 5 to 10 area.
Joker's in there too, I bet you. He just doesn't want to admit it.
But The Dark Knight is in 1 to 5.
As it
And it's
should
not
be.
2 through 5.
Okay.
I don't know. I
What
feel
about the last three here? We have Death of Superman at 8 right now, Flashpoint at 9, and Mask of Phantasm at 10.
I don't want Flashpoint to be 10, but I also don't want Mask of the Phantasm to be 10. But Death of Superman is also really good. It's just
do you
the
want?
fact that I watched it yesterday is kind of scaring me because of how good it was. But then again, the fact that I thought it was that good, I feel like it should be at 8.
I'm very happy with how 1 through 7 shook out. So if you decide you want to switch some of these around, I'm very open and amenable to it.
I think Flashpoint at 8, and I'd be happy.
I was going to say that too, so.
Okay.
Because that's the one like animated DC movie that I've recommended the most, because I feel like there's a lot of people that just watch the Mask of the Phantasms or the Under the
Do
Red
that.
Hoods,
Why does it not?
but they don't see the Flash one, and the Flash one is the greatest.
Although there's less of them in there in terms of screen time, the core Justice League is done better in Flashpoint than they are in Death of Superman. I will
Yes.
say that to Aaron's point earlier that the Justice League
They are given, like you said earlier, they're given more to do. Because with this one, there's only Doomsday and Death of Superman, but in Flashpoint, there's multiple rogues that they have to
I
help.
think
And
Flashpoint's a more complete movie than Death of
It
Superman.
also revamped and revitalized in the terms of the story of Flashpoint, the comics and the movies, because it just restarted the universe.
So how do I feel
end
about the last two then?
with,
I haven't seen Mask of Phantasm, so
That's an easy 10 for you.
yeah. But if you guys think it deserves the 9, I know it says 8 there. Let me change that.
I mean,
switch.
I want Death of Superman over Mask of Phantasm, so that's my vote.
we could leave it like that. The fact that Mask of the Phantasm did get mentioned, I'm happy with.
Okay, so do we have our top 10 then?
Yeah, you
I
wanna
think we do.
Now that we're finished, you want to recap it?
Yeah, sure. In first place, The Dark Knight. No surprise there. In second, we have Under the Red Hood. Third, we have The Batman. 4 is Man of Steel. 5, The Dark Knight Returns. And 6, we have Batman Begins. 7 is V for Vendetta. 8, Flashpoint. 9, Death of Superman. And 10, Mask of Phantasm. Boom! There it is. Top 10.
The only thing we didn't include was video games.
Yes. Which, that would have been harder.
That would have mixed, really confused
No,
things.
Arkham
Yeah.
games at number 1 instantly. Like, there's no debate.
Oh my gosh, the Arkham games are like the best Batman story.
Yeah, I've
So-
watched the entire
have to put them on
gameplay
Red Hood.
as a movie.
Jeez.
It's just that good.
Justin, how do you feel about this list?
I feel really good. This was a lot better than I thought it was going to turn out, honestly.
We all agreed a ton,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
other than the Joker.
Yeah. Joker and Watchmen. That's about it, though. Everyone else, we just kind of shuffled around a little bit.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I want in the comments. I know there will be if we get a good amount of comments on this, it'll be related to like
Mask the
you guys are so
Phantasm.
wrong. These movies shouldn't be on there. I would like to hear anybody's thoughts on Watchmen versus the Joker. Which one of those two is more likely to have been
Which is
in the top
better?
10?
Yeah, which is better?
Yeah, which one of them we shouldn't have missed. And I also want to hear thoughts on the list in general. What movies overall did we miss? What movies did we misrank? Like, is Mask of the Phantasm at 10 a terrible decision? Let us know. Give us your thoughts on the top 10 DC movies. If you want to rank them for us, we can compare. I think I'm pretty happy with how the three of us agreed. I think we were pretty gentlemanly about this.
Yeah, I like it. It looks like we have 5 live action and 5 animated.
That's pretty fair.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's right down the middle.
And like Andrew mentioned earlier, we were huge DC fans, at least me and Andrew. So, like, this isn't some BS list. Like, this is
This is with love.
love,
Yeah.
sweat, and tears put into this. Like,
Like, trust me, we're like,
You could hear the passion in these two guys' voice throughout this episode. And that doesn't mean that I don't like any of these movies by any means.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with it like these guys did.
yeah.
like, I'm sorry that Wonder Woman 1984 didn't make the list, but
That was everything that Man of Steel was or wasn't. You know, like
Yeah.
the physics in Wonder Woman
Let me ask you.
Made me so upset. Like, she would jump and just hold the same position throughout the whole jump. Like, there was no dynamic to her movements, and just her delivery in general is just kind of stiff for me.
I haven't seen 84 yet because of how bad I've heard it is. But
if we did a top 10 list of the worst movies,
we should do a worse one.
Woo!
Let's do it.
I could have that one for the worst, but then they threw the Flash at me.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Is Wonder Woman 84 better or worse than The Flash?
It has a better story, I think.
Also, it's got Pedro Pascal, so it earns a little bit of leeway there.
I mean, from what I did not like The Flash, but
Yeah.
I can't see myself liking 84 more than The Flash.
The Flash is just, it's something else, man. I think it's worse than
You
Wonder
think it's
Woman.
worse?
Genuinely very bad. Very, very bad.
Yeah, I think Wonder Woman 89 is a little bit better. No, don't get too excited now, you know.
it's
But
just-
the first Wonder Woman, that was good. We didn't bring that up at all. I know it's
'cause all
going
these are
against
freaking
a lot of heavy
goated.
hitters here.
If there wasn't so many animated picks, then maybe there would have been more discussion about Shazam and the first Wonder Woman and the
BTS
Suicide
isn't
Squad.
terrible. Like, it's got a lot of cool parts in it too.
I mean, on my end, I would have, if it was just live action, I would have mentioned the Snyder Cut because I think that's just an achievement. But with all the animated picks, I was like, nah.
Yeah, it pushed a lot of stuff down. Dark Knight Rises.
Even honestly,
It wasn't animated.
I really like Superman Returns a lot and Batman 89, but those just would not make it.
Yeah, Batman 89 is iconic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of movies that would have been in contention if not for the animated movies pushing them out.
What about DC, like Super Pets?
I've actually seen
The
it.
Lego Batman movie.
My nephew loves that movie, so I've seen DC Super Pets more times than I would care to admit.
Really? I haven't seen it at all. That's funny.
I've never even seen it.
Its depiction of the Justice League is piss poor, but it's not for me.
It's probably better than The Flash's.
Honestly. All right, I think that kind of wraps up this episode for our top 10. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought. I thought there was going to be a little bit more tension on this list, but we all came to an
The
agreement
most
pretty
tension
easily.
for me came from like when I brought up V for Vendetta and Watchmen, and the reaction was so abysmal from you two. I just
Yeah.
it took me out.
Yeah.
Also,
But it still landed at 7.
some of Aaron's disrespect for the DCAU animated projects kind of took me out as well.
But honestly, I've heard a lot of what you said about the animation style from a lot of people who say the movie is good, but they didn't like the style at all.
Right. Yeah, it just seems like they put it out for TV, you know, rather than like a big production movie, like a lot of these other movies that we're talking about. You know, these are $100 million budgets going up against these, I don't know, $1 million budget. Like,
honestly,
just
I mean-
you don't even. Yeah, I don't even know.
Seeing Superman bleed in a fight,
It's cool, but like that's one little part of this movie, and the movies are a lot shorter, so like the stories just felt more condensed. And that doesn't mean you can't tell a good story in an hour and 15 minutes. But for me, some of these ones just felt like a TV episode that was just really long, like a season finale. Like Death of Superman was a season finale. You
some
know,
of these hour and 15 stories tell a better story than 2.5 hour movies. So but it's different strokes for different folks. I'm glad that we could all agree. I really appreciate everyone who is listening or watching, especially this far, all the way to the end of this episode. Let us know your opinions in the comments. I do want to argue with you guys. So let us know what you think. We're very passionate about this and we love to talk about it. And make sure that you check us out on all of our different social media pages. We're on everything. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of it. You can find us under Backseat Directing. We sell these shirts. Mine is in black, Aaron's in yellow. You can buy both of them online at our Etsy shop at Backseat Directing. We'll get Justin one soon enough.
Yes.
But again, thank you guys so much. Make sure to share us with friends and family. It is the best way for us to grow the show. So help us get more subscribers and help us have people hit that notification bell, help us get ratings. It's going to help this show blow up. And that's what we really want, is to have a big community.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off while you were done there. I wanted to say before we sign off here, big shout out to Justin coming on the episode. He has his own podcast with 2 other guys, Cinema 3D, so make sure you go check them out, hit subscribe there, comment on their episodes as well. They have a few episodes that got a lot of views, so go check those out, especially if you are listening to it audibly, because the video quality on some of those is a little low there, Justin. But
It's all good.
no, but for real, go check them out. Thanks again for watching, and that's a wrap.